This conference will now be recorded.
Hello students, I'm Dr. Divya from TeenEinstein. In chapter 13, Organism and Population, part 6, today we are going to discuss about population growth. So in previous classes, we had learned about organism and its environment. So in that we discussed about different abiotic factors like temperature, water, light, soil and all. And how these abiotic factors and organisms, they are responding to these abiotic factors and the possibilities of adjustments, what and all or how and all these organisms are getting adjusted with these abiotic factors, or the organism, in which way they are responding to these abiotic factors. So to survive in this extreme condition, they may regulate the physiological conditions, or they may migrate from one place to another place, or sometimes until that favorable condition comes, they suspend their activities. So like this, organisms are following different methods. That depends upon their situation. So organisms, all organisms, individual organisms, they're adjusting with this various alternatives for what? For coping with this extreme environmental conditions. But some organism, you know that some organism, they'll be able to respond through some physiological adjustments, or they'll show some kind of behavioral adjustments. So we can say that there are many kind of adaptations, many types of adaptations of organisms. So many organisms, they are showing different types of adaptations. Adaptations we have learned, and examples also we have learned. So we discussed about kangaroo rat, then desert plants and all. These are the examples for adaptations. Then next we learned about different populations and population attributes, like a birth rate, death rate, sex ratio, age of population, then population density. We have discussed about all these things. So in that, age of population, that we learned with the help of age pyramids. And these age pyramids, that shows the nature of that population, right? How it is showing? It is showing like whether it is expanding or whether it is stable or declining population. We can learn, or we can understand from the shape of that age pyramids. So we learned about birth rate, death rate, sex ratio, age of population and population density. All these are different attributes of population. Why we are depending upon these characters? Because it's not an individual, it's a population. So we can't say like birth or death. We can calculate it as a rate. From the total population, we can calculate it as a birth rate or death rate. Then the male to female ratio only we can say, because it is a population, many individuals are there. Then age of that population, we can't assess the age of the population one by one, because number of individuals are more. So age of the population we can represent like post-reproductive, reproductive and pre-reproductive age. Like that we can represent in different ways. Then population density, that also we can calculate. So in age pyramid, how we can learn? Whether it is expanding population. Triangle shape means it's an expanding population. Stable means it's bell shape. Then urn-shaped means it will be a declining population. Got it? So these many things already we have discussed. So next we are moving to population growth. In today's class we will be discussing about population growth. What is population growth? Whether one population is a growing population or not. That's what we are going to learn. Population growth. Growth of that population. So size of a population. It's not a stable one. It's not a static parameter. What do you mean by that? Why we are saying that it's not a stable one, the size of the population? Because that may change. It is depending upon the availability of factors. Availability of factors, then factors in the sense, the factors which are helping in the growth of that population. Based on this availability, that population size may increase or that may decrease. That depends upon the availability of factors. So when factors are available which is helping for the growth of that population will grow. Otherwise, or is there any negative characters or negative factors which are reducing the growth of the population, that population size will reduce. So it depends upon the factors which are available, which is helping or which is negatively affecting the growth of that population. That's why we are saying that population is not a stable one, or the size of the population is not a static parameter. That may vary or that may change. It depends upon the availability of factors. Means, for example, we can say that food availability, then weather, because if sufficient food is available, that means it helps in the growth of that population. If there is a fight or competition or there's a scarcity for food, then how that population can grow? There, food is a major factor for the growth of the population. If that food itself not available, or the less availability of food, that itself will reduce the growth of that population, right? It won't support the population. It will reduce the growth of the organism, or that may create competition between organisms. So because of all those things, individual organism may die, or death rate will be more in that population. So that will never support the availability. More availability of the factors, that only will support the growth of the population. So the fluctuation in that population size, that is giving an idea about whether that population is going to expand or it is going to decline, right? That fluctuation should come in a population size. That is giving the idea whether it is increasing or decreasing, or whether it is an expanding population or it is a declining population. This is, we can understand whether it is an expanding or declining one from where the fluctuation in population size, that is giving an idea about the expansion or declining of that population. So based on 4 basic parameters or 4 basic processes, the density of a population in a given habitat in a particular period, that may fluctuate. Okay, there are 4 basic processes. Based on these 4 basic processes, the population density of a given habitat at a particular period or a particular time, that may fluctuate. So which are the 4 basic processes, or which are the important 4 processes? That is natality, then immigration, mortality and emigration. Okay, natality, immigration, mortality and emigration. So among these 4, natality and immigration, natality and immigration. These two increases population density. Okay, which one? Natality and immigration. I'll explain you why it is helping or why it is increasing the population density. And next, here natality and immigration both are increasing the population, while mortality, here you can see mortality and immigration. Mortality and immigration both are decreasing the population size. Now I'll explain each, then you will get an idea why it is increasing or decreasing the population growth. So which and all? Here population growth, the four basic processes which are based on which we can say that is creating fluctuation in the density of population. Which are those? Natality, immigration, mortality and immigration. So among this, natality and immigration, these both increases the population. Okay. Why? Mortality and immigration, that decreases the population. No doubt, because you may get question like, among the following, which one increases the population growth or population density? So you should have an idea. You should know the definition of each one so that you can answer it properly. You should have a clear idea about the definition of each one. First, here you can see natality, the first one. Natality. Natality refers to the number of births during a given period in the population that are added to the initial density. Okay. So natality refers to the number of births. Natality means the number of births at a particular period or a given period, number of births in the population. Okay. That will be added to the initial density. See, more number of births it is taking place. That means population density is increasing. Number of organisms or number of individuals, they are getting added to that population. That means the total number, the population density is increasing. That's why natality means new births, number of births during a given period in that population. So more number of organisms are getting added to a population. That means the number of individuals in that population is getting increased. So that shows the growth of that population. Got it? That's why natality is increasing the population size, or that is helping, that is adding to the population growth. Next is mortality. Second one here, mortality. Mortality is the number of deaths in the population during a given period. See, if you are calculating the population growth or population density, whether we want to know that whether the population is growing or not, or whether it is declining, just to find out that if more number of births are there in a particular period, that time we can say that in that moment we can mark it as that population is a growing one, or there is population growth. The mortality means number of death in a population during a given period. So during a given period, number of deaths are more compared to number of births. Number of deaths are more. See, 10 people, 10 new births are taking place. But at the same time, there 20 people are dying in that population. Then which one is more? Mortality or death rate is more. Number of people, those who are dying, number of organisms which are dying, that is more. That means mortality is more. Means more number of organisms are going out of that population or they are dying. Those organisms which are dying, that number is more. So which one is more? Mortality is more. That means that population growth is not there. There is no growth in population. It's a declining population. That why we are saying that? Because number of organisms or number of individuals are reducing in that population. So their population growth is not there. It is a declining population or the population density is decreasing. Next point is immigration. So here we can say mortality, that is decreasing the population, right? Where natality, that is adding. The more number of organisms are getting added to that population. That increases the population, while the mortality, number of people or number of individuals are getting reduced, because that shows the death. Mortality shows the number of deaths at a particular period. So there the population is decreasing. Next is immigration. Immigration is the number of individuals of the same species that have come into the habitat from elsewhere during the time period under consideration. At a particular period, the same type or same species, like say some birds which are coming from some other places to this habitat, which is belonging to the same species. So those numbers also getting added to this population. So here number of individuals in a particular species, it is becoming more or it is getting added. Just imagine here in this particular population, 10 birds are there in a particular species. Suppose species X. It is belonging to species X. Like that 10 birds are there. So at a particular time period, from some other place, the same species X, from there another 20 birds are coming to this population or to this habitat. They are coming from somewhere else. The same species, the birds which are belonging to species X, from some other place they are coming to this population, but they are belonging to the same species. So here in this particular population, the number of organism or number of individuals in the species X, previously it was 10. Now new 20 birds came. So it became 10 plus 20, 30. So here in the same species, number of individuals are getting added. They came from somewhere, but here total individuals, number of total individuals, that became more. So the immigration, that is adding, right? That increases the growth of the population. So immigration is the number of individuals of some same species that have come into the habitat from elsewhere during the time period under consideration. So at a particular point of time, this number of individuals which are belonging to the same species, that is becoming more. So here that population at that particular period, the population is growing, or that shows the growth of the population at a particular or a considered time. Okay, so immigration is the number of individuals of the same species that have come into the habitat from somewhere during the time period under consideration. Okay, so here we say natality and immigration, that is adding or that is increasing the population. Next comes immigration. What do you mean by immigration? Immigration is the number of individuals of the population who left the habitat, gone elsewhere during the time period under consideration. Okay. Here, this is the exact immigration. It is Exactly opposite to immigration. In immigration, from somewhere, individuals are coming to one habitat. Okay. But here, in the case of immigration, the number of individuals of population who left the habitat, from this habitat, some organisms are leaving this habitat and they're going to somewhere else. So here, number of individuals are getting reduced. Here, total number of organisms are less because they are leaving this place and they're going somewhere. So during that particular period, from here they are leaving and they are going somewhere else. Okay. That may be for some particular purpose, maybe for their breeding purpose or to survive from some climatic condition. They are leaving this particular habitat and they are going somewhere else. But whatever may be, from where they left, in that habitat, number of individuals are becoming very, very less. From here, some 30 birds are going means here number of individuals, total number of individuals, how it will be? Like previously it was 100 individuals. From that, 30 individuals are going. Then what will be the current number of individuals in that population? 100 minus 30, it is becoming 70. That means the number of individuals in that particular population, it is getting reduced. So immigration decreases the population growth, or it is reducing the population. So here, natality, mortality, immigration and emigration. So based on these four basic processes, the density of a population in a given habitat during a given period, time period, that may fluctuate. Okay. So these are which are the four basic processes: natality, mortality, immigration and emigration. This may create fluctuation in the population growth or density of a population that depends upon these four: natality, mortality, immigration and emigration. Okay. In this natality, that means birth, number of births. Natality and immigration. Immigration means the individuals of the same species, they are coming from somewhere else, they are coming and they are getting, that number is getting added to this particular population. So natality and immigration, that is increasing the population, or that is helping in the population growth. Okay. Well, at the same time, immigration and mortality. Mortality means number of death. Okay. Death. Organisms are dying from a particular population. That means the number of individuals are getting reduced. Immigration. Immigration means from this particular population, organisms are, some organisms, they are leaving this population and they are going somewhere else. That means here number is getting reduced. The whole total population, number of individuals in that total population, it is getting reduced. So this also, mortality and immigration, both are not supporting the growth of the population. Due to these two factors, mortality and immigration, population growth, it is not happening. It is population size it is getting decreased. Okay. Next, here in the previous slide, we discussed about population growth and the characters like natality, mortality, immigration and emigration. See, natality, mortality, immigration and emigration. Natality, here you can see it is getting added to the population density. Means it is birth. We can mention it by B, letter B. Like that. Immigration. Individuals are coming to that population. Immigration is represented by letter I. It means organisms are coming. So that is also increasing the population density. Here you can see mortality. Mortality means minusing the number of individuals. That means that is the death. Mortality. It is represented by letter D. And immigration. E. These both, from that population, individuals are getting reduced. Okay, this minus sign shows individuals are getting reduced. So these both reduces the population growth. So here, natality, mortality, immigration and emigration, and how this is affecting the population growth. That we have already told, whether it is adding or reducing the growth. So from these population characters, the density of a population density is represented by N, population density N at the time T. This can be expressed after a period of time, T plus 1. Okay, at a particular time period after this T plus 1. So how we can write the equation? The density at time T plus 1 is population density at the time T plus 1, N. Population density is N at the time T plus 1 is equal to NT. NT plus D plus I minus D plus E. Okay. N, that means population density at time T plus 1. That is equal to NT plus B plus I minus D plus E. So here NT plus 1. What do you mean by NT plus 1? The population density at time T plus 1. That is equal to, how we can calculate population density at time T. See, now this is time T. Suppose this is time T. In this time, what is the population density? Just imagine, it is population density, we are saying it is 10. 10 individuals are there. Then at T plus 1, means from this time plus 1 in the next time or next T plus 1, this time is T. Just imagine this is time T. At time T, the population density is 10. So T plus 1. With this time, we are adding that 1. At that time, what will be the population density? Within that time, so many people might have, or so many individuals might have died, or new birth might have taken place. So we need to include. There might be immigration or immigration. Everything would have happened. So we need to calculate all these things. Right? At a particular time, how we will calculate? Just before that, how many individuals were there? That's what we are saying here. NT plus 1. That is, we need to calculate at the time T plus 1. So at the time T plus 1, what is there? How we can calculate? We should know at T, time T, what is there? At time T, it is T, 10. Suppose, just imagine it is 10. Then T plus 1. In the next T plus 1, that plus 1, that time what and all happened? New births are there. Along with this previous population density, we need to add new births and immigrations, right? New births are there means that will get added, plus immigration. Any new individuals are coming to that population, that also will be added, right? Because that number of individuals will be more at that particular time T plus 1. Then from that, we need to minus, or we need to reduce the number of D. D shows mortality. Within that particular time, some individuals might have died. That number we need to reduce. Plus emigration, the individuals, that organism which are not left that particular population. That we need to calculate. Then emigration, those who left the population, that also we need to add. This death plus emigration, that shows D plus E. That number should get that should be deducted from this birth and immigration. Right? Birth and immigration, first we need to add. That is the new individuals. Then we need to minus. From that new individuals, we need to minus the death and immigrants. Then that gives the new individuals, the sum total of new individuals. Then with the new individuals, we need to add at time t. That is the number of individuals which are present at the time t. Along with that time t density, population density, we need to add the new births and immigrants. Along with that, we need to minus, we need to reduce the number, deduct the number of death and immigrants. Got it? That's how we need to learn. So from this figure itself, it's very clear when we are calculating the population density, at a particular period, that immigration, new individuals added, then natality, new births, that will add or that will increase the number of population or number of individuals in a population or the population density. At the same time, we need to reduce the number or deduct the number of death or mortality. That one we need to deduct, plus immigration, those who left, the organism, those who left the population, that also we need to deduct. So that gives the population density at a particular time period. Okay. So n t plus 1 population density at a time t plus 1 is calculated. How we can calculate? We need to know population density at time t plus b plus I. That means natality plus immigration minus mortality plus immigration. So finally here, this b plus I minus d plus e, that gives a number. Newly added individuals or the current individuals which are present, which are newly added to that population. That one we are adding with the population density of the previous at time t. That gives the population density of t plus 1. Clear? So here in this equation, nt plus 1 is equal to nt plus d plus I minus d plus e. So from this population characters, the density of a population n at the time t, that can be expressed after a period of t plus 1. How we can express? Nt plus 1 is equal to nt plus d plus I minus d plus e. Here b, what is b? B is the number of births and I is the number of immigrants, d is the number of death and e, that is number of immigrants. So here from this figure you can make out natality, here b, natality b, that means number of births, that is increasing the population density. Here the plus sign indicates the increasing the population density. Then immigration I, number of individuals coming to that habitat. New individuals which are coming, which is belonging to the same species and that is coming from somewhere else to this population, and that increases the population density. At the same time here mortality D, that shows the death, and immigration, that is number of individuals who is going out of that habitat. Okay, so immigration and mortality, we said all that already. Mortality and immigration, that reduces the population growth. So from this equation, what we can learn? or for you how questions will come for exam. Population size will increase if number of birth rate and immigration is more. Okay. Population size will increase if number of birth, that means natality, or number of births and immigration is more, means population density will increase. Just keep this picture in mind. You can write it very clearly. When number of births and immigration it is more, means population density will increase. Then population density will reduce if the death rate and immigration is high. If the death rate and immigration is high, population density will reduce, because now if more number of people are dying, means the total number of individuals in that particular population is getting reduced. So when we are calculating population density, it will be less compared to the earlier period. Then immigration, if more number of individuals are going out of that population, that shows the number of individuals in that particular population is getting reduced. So then also the population density will decrease. Or we can say that B plus I. Here you can say B plus I is more than number of D plus E. That means population size increases. B plus I, what do you mean by B plus I? It means this first part, if it is more than D plus E. B plus I means natality, that means birth and immigration is more than death and immigration, then that population size is increasing. So that's how you will get tested. Okay, so first you should know what is natality and what is immigration, what is emigration and what is mortality. You should have clear idea about the definition. Then you can easily, by using these terms only, questions will come. So it will be easy for you if you are clear with the definitions. So if number of B plus I, birth rate and immigration, that is more compared to mortality and immigration, means that population is growing, or that size, population size increases. If the number of B plus I, birth and immigration, that is less than the number of D plus E, then that population size reduces. Okay. If this part B plus I, that is more compared to D plus E, means that population is growing. Otherwise, here D plus E is more, means that population is decreasing, or the size of that population is reducing. So under normal condition, that population density depends upon mainly birth and death rate. Okay, normally if there is no other issues or no other problems in that population, then the first character which is influencing the population growth or the population density is the death and birth. Right? If only that birth is more compared to death, birth is more, means definitely that we can say that the population density is increasing. And like same like this, if number of death is more, we can say that population density is decreasing. Compared to birth, death rate is more, means we can say that population density is decreasing. So a normal condition, that population density depends on mainly birth and death rate. Then immigration and emigration, these two factors, this immigration and immigration, these two factors, they're important under specific or special conditions. Like if there is a formation of new habitat or some conditions like that, a new habitat is formed. In that new habitat, some group of birds are coming. That increases the density suddenly. For a sudden change, this immigration and emigration helps. For a newly created habitat, just imagine a habitat is newly created. In that, if you are thinking about a sudden population density growth, that means immigration, some organisms or some species are coming from somewhere else and they are getting added to this population, there you can see a population density increase. Okay. So these are special cases, immigration and emigration and all. These factors are important under special conditions like the formation of a new habitat or new population. Got it? Otherwise, main characters which are influencing the population density or growth of population is mortality and natality. Next we are going to explain about some growth models. See, growth models in the sense that represent the pattern of population growth. See, there are two types or two patterns of growth. Means this population growth, two patterns of population growth. And this growth we can explain it is depending upon the impact of that environmental factors. That growth we can explain based on the impact of environmental factors. So for one is exponential growth. First one is exponential growth. And this exponential growth, it is called as geometric fashion of growth. Okay, exponential growth, it is otherwise called as geometrical fashion of growth. And this growth, this exponential growth that occurs when the resources like food and space, they are unlimited. Okay, when unlimited food and space, if these resources are available or it is unlimited, then you can see exponential growth or geometric fashion of growth you can see in a population. This according to Darwin, that when these resources in the habitat, when it is unlimited, each species of organism that shows maximum potential to grow and increase their number, right? See, when the food and space, when it is available, there is unlimited availability of food and space, each organism will be having the tendency to grow in its full potential. And that will increase the number also. So that increases the population. So that shows a particular pattern. When these resources are available, that shows exponential growth or geometric fashion of growth, where these resources, food and space are unlimited. So what Darwin said, according to Darwin, when these resources in this habitat, these resources are unlimited means each species, all type of organism which are present or all species which are present in that habitat, they will show the full potential and they will grow and they will show the full potential and they'll grow, their number also will increase. So this intrinsic rate of natural increase, intrinsic rate of natural increase, that is called as biotic potential. Okay, this natural increase, that also in an intrinsic level, this intrinsic rate of natural increase, that is called as biotic potential. You can see these terms in question paper also, that's why I'm repeating. A natural increase, because there is the maximum or unlimited availability of food and space. So these organisms or the individuals, they will grow at its maximum and their number also, their reproduction also will be more, because here growth sources are available. They are in unlimited way, it is available. So that shows, that helps in the growth and reproduction of that organism, particular organism. So that will show the maximum potential to grow and reproduce. They'll reproduce in the maximum level, they will grow and they will show the reproduction also. So that shows the growth of that population. So that natural increase, that is called as biotic potential. Okay. So the value, biotic potential, we can mention as R. Okay. Biotic potential is mentioned as R. So that value of R, that is very important. That is an important parameter and that depends upon the environmental factors on population growth. So here we can say, see here, in a population of size n, the birth rate, the total number, but per capita births. Okay, that means related to each individual it is. It is related to each individual. So here what we can say, so we can say that important aspects of exponential growth. Important aspects we can discuss about the exponential growth. What and all that? Here, B and death rate, again that is also per capita. B and D, birth rate and death rate. Then the increase or decrease in population density. N is the population density. Okay. N during a unit time period T. dN by dt. That will be dN by dt is equal to B minus D into N. Okay, B minus D means birth rate minus death rate into N. This B minus D, here B, what is B? B is per capita birth rate. D is per capita death rate. If B minus D we have already said that is the B minus D is equal to R. If B minus D is equal to R is the biotic potential. That means when the resources are available at its maximum or when it is unlimited availability of resources are there, this organism or individuals will show maximum potential or they'll grow maximum and they'll increase the number also. So here B minus D is equal to R. Then what we can write? dN by dt, that is equal to R. Here we are going to replace this B minus D is equal to R. Then how we can write dN by dt is equal to R into N. Instead of B minus D we are writing R into N because B minus D, we are considering B minus D is equal to R. Then dN by dt is equal to R into N. Here R in this equation, it is the intrinsic rate of natural increase. And this is very important parameter. We said what is that? Biotic potential. R is the biotic potential. Okay. Then here the integral form of exponential growth equation. That will be integral form of exponential equation. Exponential growth equation. Here you can see NT is equal to N0 e raised to RT. Here NT, what is NT? N is the population density at the time T. Population density after time T. Okay. And N0. What do you mean by N0? Here, this is the population density after time T. And N0 shows the population density at time 0. NT is the population density after time T. N0 is the population density at time 0. Then R is the intrinsic rate of natural increase. Okay. B minus D is equal to R. We have already mentioned B minus D is R. So that is the intrinsic rate of natural increase. When all sources or factors are available in unlimited way, then there is a growth, maximum growth. So that is represented as R. Then E is the base of natural logarithms, 2.71, 2.71828. So any species, here you can see any species which is growing exponentially under unlimited resource condition that can reach enormous population density in a short time. Okay. Here you can see the first one, dn by dt is equal to r into n. dn by dt is equal to rn. Here you can see that when all resources are available, then any species growing exponentially under unlimited resources. When resources are unlimited, any species that is growing, that will show a exponential growth, and that increases the population density. In a short time, that population density will increase because all food resources are available, all sources are available, all conditions are matching. Then a particular species which is present in that condition, that can show maximum growth. So here it shows that when all resources are okay or everything is unlimited, all factors are unlimited, then by using those factors, a species can grow its maximum, and that growth, that will grow in number also, that number also will get increased, right? So there is a full-fledged condition for the growth of a population because all resources are available in a unlimited way. So by utilizing that, the population or the species is growing in number, and in that organism, number-wise also it is increasing. That means the number of individuals in that population is getting added in a short period. So the population density is getting increased. So here dn by dt is equal to Rn. Okay. Here you can see here equation dn by dt is equal to Rn. This shows geometric growth. We have already said geometric growth, and that is resulting in the J-shaped curve. Okay. This curve is in a J shape. It is showing a J shape, which is showing geometric growth. So equation dn by dt is equal to Rn. This describes geometric growth, and it is resulting in a J-shaped curve. In a particular time period, it is showing maximum population density because all resources are available. So due to environmental resistance, or when that resources are becoming when that resource availability, it is getting reduced, or when it is getting completed, that time what will happen? This growth will suddenly, it will get stopped, right? So suddenly due to environmental, it may be due to environmental resistance, or that resources which are in which were available in an unlimited way, that will get stopped. It will get over. So that time also this growth, this density, population density, it will get stopped suddenly due to all these issues. Okay. So that time there will be a decline in that J shape. Up to that it will grow. So when that resources are getting over, or there is is there any environmental issues which is affecting the growth of this population, that time this growth increase in the population density will get stopped suddenly, and that will get decreased. So the J-shaped population, that population, there it shows a decline. And decline in J-shaped population, it is in its density. We can see population density, there will be a decline. Like you can see algal bloom, then insect population and all. With maximum it will utilize and it will grow. And after complete utilization of that resources, at one stage all this resource availability will get over, or there will be some environmental condition which is adversely affecting all this, the growth of this organism or an individual. So that time what will happen? There will be a decline in this population. So that there will be a decline in the J-shaped curve or J-shaped population. Okay. So this is about exponential growth. Next is logistic growth. This is also there to explain this. There are three phases in this graph. It's lag phase. You can see different phases in this. Lag phase, log phase, and exponential phase. There are three phases, so that we need to explain clearly. So we'll explain that in next class. Hope up to this everything is clear. So the second type, like logistic growth, that we'll explain in the next class. Do you want me to repeat anything, or is there any doubt? Is it clear? Okay, thank you.